Welcome back to Elegant Insights. Today we will see about the problems in teaching English as a second language. Learning the mother tongue is a natural process, whereas learning a second language needs deliberate effort in developing the command and control of the different components of the language, like the phonology or the sound system, morphology, which is the patterns and parts of words, and also the syntax, where the patterns of phrases and sentences are learned. Now the question is, how can we Indians master these components of English when we learn it as a second language? Native speaker acquires his mother tongue through imitation. From the moment of his birth, a child is exposed to the sounds of language. The important aspect of language acquisition is a child learns whatever language he is expected to. If a child grows up in a bilingual environment, he acquires both the languages simultaneously. Unconsciously, a child learns the grammatical system of the language that he is exposed to. The child's language acquisition process is that exposure to language enables the child to internalize the grammar without knowing it. Now, here is a question. Who learns the new language fast? Children or adults? Guess who? Yes, it is the children who learn it fast, and adults lag behind because they are rarely wholly cut off from the use of their mother tongue. The social pressures on children mixing frequently with those of their age group are more intense than those on adults who can manage with their first language. And now, children acquire a better mastery of pronunciation than adults because adults who have better mastery over the mother tongue will find it difficult to adapt themselves to the new language. But adults show better learning abilities than children. The actual achievement of adults is superior to that of children because of their mental abilities that have been developed in the general process of learning. Adults are also aware of the necessity of learning a particular language. According to Broughton and his colleagues, adults learning English bring to the task a mature personality, many years of educational training, a developed intelligence, a determination to get what they want, fairly clear aims, and above all, strong motivation to make as rapid a progress as possible. Exposure is an important criteria in learning a new language. Both children and adults learn languages when exposed to them. One of the important conditions of learning a second language is abundant exposure to the language. According to Wilkins, 1 year in the classroom provides the equivalent of from 1 to 3 weeks contact in a language acquisition situation. Exposure to linguistic forms should be given to the second language learner in a well-regulated manner. A second language learner should also be exposed to linguistic rules. However, it will not be beneficial for children due to ill-developed analytical abilities. Opportunities to use the linguistic structures should be given to the learner. The child acquiring a language depends on feedback. In the case of the second language learner, the feedback should be the responsibility of the teacher. The teacher's correction of mistakes through the feedback should be cautiously and sympathetically carried out so that the learner does not become self-conscious about making mistakes in his utterances. A very significant factor in language learning is motivation. The second language learner has this motivation in the need to communicate. The classroom activity should be geared to this, and the learners should be well motivated to ensure effective learning through a natural urge to communicate. The second language learner attaches significance to the meaning of his utterances. Better understanding of sentence patterns and lexical items constitute meaningfulness. According to Wilkins, there are two aspects of meaningfulness. The first aspect is the wider the range of associations that is built up for the linguistic forms, the better. And the second is learning of sentences that are semantically and structurally well formed. A child learns to speak first and then taught to write. Linguists argue that the language learner should be trained in learning and speaking first and reading and writing next. A second language learner may make use of speech and writing simultaneously. Though the most important factor in second language learning is exposure to the language, there are also other important factors in learning a second language. The duration of exposure to the language is a major factor. The long period of exposure to English, though intermittent and not intensive, enables our students to have a certain degree of familiarity with sentence patterns, words, and phrases in the language, which, with some more continuous contact with the language, strengthens his ability to write it, though not to speak it. Another factor is classroom conditions. These conditions include the number of students in a class, the physical arrangements for the class, teaching materials such as chalk, blackboard, audiovisual aids, library, etc. It's very important that the second language classes are of the right size. A class consisting of 40 or more becomes unwieldy and no individual attention can be paid to students. One of the reasons why teaching English in India does not leave the desired impact on the student is that the class is too big for the teacher to do any worthwhile job. The audiovisual aids are an integral part of the learning situation and are as important as the blackboard and chalk. In India, teaching English suffers as a result of the inadequacy and poor availability of these resources. Yet, the standard of English reached by students in general is poor. This is because of inadequacies relating to teaching aids and other environmental factors. The two vital factors in second language learning situation is the student and the teacher. A teacher should be proficient in the language. The Modern Language Association has set 7 heads and 3 levels of excellence under each head as qualifications for competent teachers. If a person is able to follow closely and with ease all types of standard speech such as rapid or group discussion, plays and movies, then he is said to have superior oral understanding. If a person is able to understand conversation of average tempo, lectures and news broadcasts, then he is good at oral understanding. He has minimal oral understanding if he is able to get the sense of what an educated native says when he is enunciating carefully and speaking simply on a general subject. While speaking, a person is considered superior if he has the ability to approximate native speech in vocabulary, intonation, and pronunciation. And he is good if he has the ability to talk with a native without making glaring mistakes and with a command of vocabulary and syntax sufficient to express one's thoughts in sustained conversation. He is minimal if he has the ability to talk on prepared topics without obvious faltering and to use the common expressions needed for getting around in a foreign country, speaking with a pronunciation readily understandable to a native. In reading, a person is considered superior if he is able to read almost as easily as in his own mother tongue and the material of considerable difficulty such as essays and literary criticism. And a person is good if he is able to read with immediate comprehension prose and verse of average difficulty and mature content. He is considered minimal if he is able to grasp directly the meaning of simple non-technical prose except for an occasional word. In writing, a person is considered superior if he has the ability to write on a variety of subjects with idiomatic naturalness, ease of expression, and some feeling for the style of the language. He is good if he is able to write a simple free composition with clarity and correctness in vocabulary, idiom, and syntax. And he is minimal if he is able to write correctly sentences or paragraphs such as would be developed orally for classroom situations and to write a short, simple letter. In language analysis, a person is superior if he has the ability to apply knowledge of descriptive, comparative, and historical linguistics to the language teaching situation. And he is good if he has a basic knowledge of the historical development and present characteristics of the language and an awareness of the difference between the language as spoken and as written. He is very minimal if he has a working command of the sound patterns and grammar patterns of English and a knowledge of its main differences from his own mother tongue. On cultural basis, one who has an enlightened understanding of the English people and their culture and achieved through personal contact, preferably by travel and residence abroad, through study of systematic descriptions of English culture and through study of literature and arts, he is considered superior. And he is good if he has a first-hand knowledge of some literary masterpieces and understanding of the principal ways in which the English culture resembles and differs from his own. And he is considered minimal if he has an awareness of language as an essential element among the learned and shared experiences that combine to form a particular culture. In professional preparation, a person is considered superior if he has a mastery of the recognized teaching methods and the ability to experiment with and evaluate new methods and techniques. And is good if he has the ability to apply knowledge of methods and techniques to the teaching situation, for example, the audio-visual techniques. And he is very minimal if he has some knowledge of effective methods and techniques of language teaching. And to conclude, every second language teacher has a serious problem to cope with the students' bilingualism. Social and cultural context is in favor of English learning as it is regarded as the hallmark of an educated person in India. Thank you for your patience.